Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing out there today? This is Vinny Cuz, and as you can see on my screen, we had a lot of excitement since Friday. And my question is, did we poke the bear? And the reason why I say that is, there's a lot of drivers depend on this. And with our protests, which were, they were rightfully done, justified. The question becomes is, how much damage did we do to these companies by these folks protesting? Now, granted, they've done a lot to hurt drivers, and everybody knows this. And it had to be done. But at the end of the day now, Lyft is down over 5% this morning. Uber's down over 10%. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about up here. So just looking at Lyft opening up this morning already, or I'm sorry, Uber. Pre-market, all right? They closed at 41.41 on Friday, and they opened less than 38. And you can see from this chart that, they tanked. They closed up here and dove down there. I'm no financial guy. I've got my investments. I do what I do. But this price right here at 38.01, that ain't good. They lost a lot of money on that table. And it's kind of hard to, pay drivers more money when they're getting their heads kicked in. Take a look at Lyft. Lyft right now, let's see. So Uber's down 8.2%. So it's bounced up a little bit. It's trying to climb. Lyft is down 3.72%. But this gap here, from here to here, is what happened pre-market. So before it's available to the public, if you didn't know that. I don't know why that keeps popping up. Let's not show that again. Maybe because I've got other windows open. I'm watching my crypto. Crypto did good over the weekend. Anyway, so more to my point, the news is out, right? They had their big IPO on Friday, and it was a flop. And every news station, every stock analyst, and every driver, well, not the drivers, but the news reporting was it was a terrible thing, worst IPO ever, yada, yada, yada. Drivers seem to be happy that they failed or that they didn't accomplish their goals. And a lot of YouTubers, Uber-tubers out there, they're pointing out the fact that, the protests worked. We heard them. Well, I don't know how much the protests hurt them. I think, their path to profitability in their S1, their business model, it's not there. They're playing the long game. They're comparing themselves to an Amazon-type company that, actually produces something with quite not the same overhead. And there's a lot more users of like an Amazon or a Facebook versus, shared transportation. Anyway, so it was a flop. It definitely was a flop. And you just kind of go through these and you can just see, it's killing everybody. We go over to YouTube. Let's see if it updates. Uber's profitability and driver loyalty questions hurting stock. That's one way to look at it. Rocky IPO. If anybody was paying attention before they went public, we know it took a while for them to go public on Friday because they were looking for the right number, what they felt comfortable with. They knew they were going to take a beating. They knew it. But, this guy right here, Dara, he's a fucking puppet. If anybody in their right mind thinks Dara's running this company, you're really not paying attention. I know my friend Torsten out in California, rideshare professor. He did a little video last night and it was like calling for his resignation. I don't know about that. And the reason why I say that is because Dara made a statement, hey, some drivers figure out how to do it and some drivers don't. Well, that's like some people learn how to flip burgers and some people don't. Some people can build houses and some people can't. It's not for everybody. And I've always said in my personal life and to all my friends who ask me about it, and also in my businesses, the goal of either being an entrepreneur or entrepreneur-like tendencies, as Gary Vee would say. I'm the latter. It's not for everybody. but it's for me. And I know I can go out there and make money if I need to. If I need to go snatch $200 today, you can bet your ass I can snatch $200 today. Anyway, so we look at all this and we can see now that, they're losing. So my point to this is pretty simple, right? It's a pretty simple thing. Oh, there's another stock update. Let's see, who is this? I'm not going to open that up. So here we come down to this. As a driver, there are a lot of drivers out there that are happy that the IPO didn't go as planned. There's a lot of taxi drivers, limo drivers that are happy the IPO didn't go as planned. But I got to ask you a question. If everything doesn't go as needed for Uber and or Lyft, what are you going to do as a driver? Because how many times do drivers lose their mind when the app has a hiccup and you lose the app for an hour or 2 hours because it's on a glitch? It ain't good, is it? How many times when you lose a little bit of connectivity with your Wi-Fi service or your data service through your cell phones, smartphones, whatever the hell they are, you don't like that feeling. If Uber and or Lyft didn't open their doors tomorrow, what would you do? So what my point is that a lot of this needs to be taken with a little bit of temperament and a little bit of understanding. They are a business. They have hurt drivers tremendously with their greed. Hopefully, one would hope that because the IPOs, both IPOs, didn't fetch the money they needed, they're going to reevaluate themselves. I hope Dara reevaluates himself. I hope Zimmer reevaluates himself. And I hope they understand that they need drivers to make their platforms work right now. They know they do because they can't put an autonomous vehicle on the road. They just can't. But at the same time, drivers need to understand that we need them also. If you're driving Uber and or Lyft, you need the app functioning, you need the app to work, and you need the app to pay. We are in this together. So what I would ask is, approach this with some caution, some well thought out planning. Understand it's okay to make a protest and a stand, but at the same time, don't poke the bear. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. And what I mean by that is don't gloat because they didn't achieve what they needed to do. What you need to be asking yourself is, okay, what are they going to do? We're going to watch them. What are they going to do to correct their business model? Because they're all the small investors and private investors. Guess what? They got their bread and they bailed. You saw that in the first 2 minutes of the stock going public. They bailed. They absolutely took off. They got their money and they got the hell out. So let's see, 38.90. I mean, they're down. What, $6, a little over $6 since they're opening. And this is going to fluctuate. It's going to find its bottom, right? And they're going to find their happy place, and then investors will start to come in. But a lot of investors are rattled right now. So we need to keep doing what we're doing. When we drive, we need to drive, try our best to make the apps work with the fares they're giving us. I would suggest to you to check your strategy. We all know this ain't no banker's job. You're not running banker's hours. You can't do it on Uber or Lyft or rideshare. You can't do it on Uber Eats or package delivery or DoorDash or any of them damn things. The number one rule is be where people are moving. If people ain't moving, you ain't getting paid. But at the end of the day, we need them to be successful. Lyft has just dropped again. Uber's kind of doing its thing. So it's going to be interesting. Anyway, all I ask is that drivers, hey, don't gloat with this. It's a bad idea to gloat. All right? Some kind of way they got to figure out their ship, and they got to include us. I will always say the only thing that needs to be corrected with drivers, it's going to be unpopular, but it's true. You're an independent contractor, right? If we went down 75, 25, or 70-30 with the split. Whatever the rider pays, if it's $100 after a concert, $70 to the driver, $30 to the rideshare app. If they would just hold that solid, even with the rates at what they are, because look, they're diving right now. Look at this. This is a huge dive. Let's see if I can pull this up and see what happens here. That right there is not good, right? And it's going to fluctuate. But they just dropped over $1. Yeah, that's Uber. They just dropped $1.50. Oh, yeah, $1.50. Like that. And just like that, the app could be shut down. Anyway, it's just a rant. And I hope people really take a look at it. Rideshare Revolution, hey, bro, Gio, I think you're the bomb. You keep it as honest. And I like your neutrality on it, right? I like that you took your birthday off, 3,000 calorie pizza, whatever it is that you had. That was pretty stand up. I like the fact that Harry, Drive Girl Drive, Kevin, Entrepreneur, Torsten, Rideshare, Professor, I'm glad that they all went out to the protests, and got it in. But guys, don't gloat. Absolutely do not gloat. Because in an instant, it can all be over. Anyway, that's me. That's my piece on it. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.